That's unusual.
Well,
Yeah. Well, no, it's got a fold down seat, but also I think it's got a deluxe interior. You can see that where it's got the white rib in the center. Hopefully he's got another shot of it. There was an armrest that folded down. Yeah, see how it's a bench seat with an armrest?
Oh, okay.
Very, very rare. I mean, I'm a big Camaro guy now. I've only seen 2 or 3 of these like that. There is a guy in town that's got one in Bradenton, but it's an on-the-column Camaro. That's just not something you see a lot of.
yeah.
67 GTO. Bob Heim. That Camaro was Dennis D'Angelo.
And of course, GTO, by that time, it was a going car in '67.
Yeah.
It's you started out kind of as that first, what they consider to be muscle cars, put a bigger engine in an intermediate body, and by '65, the styling was really amazing, and by '67, it was kind of that first generation. '68, they changed the body style around again.
You know what it is with the clip, Bill? We're not getting the movement. Apparently the movement is...
Yeah.
See how...
Yeah.
Because I had these to where it zoomed in, zoomed out, and that's what's done it on that clip.
Oh, build sheet.
Yeah.
That's what's wrong with the cars today. You can't go in and say, I want this and this and this.
68
and this and this.
Firebird. That GTO and the Firebird, I guess it's either father and son or 2 brothers, Rob Heim and Max Heim.
'68 Firebird.
See, now that's a car, Bill.
Now, well, yeah, it really is. And you don't see many Firebirds by comparison to Camaros. But some of the styling features were similar. We've talked about Camaros where in '67 they had the wing window, in '68 they did not, and that's how you tell a '68 as well, as if it doesn't have that wing window. They went to what they called astral ventilation at that point. So the styling changed just subtly. There was also a side marker light that they had on it.
That's nice.
Then '69 had the same basic body style, but the body was a couple inches larger, wider, and as a result, it was something that you just don't see a lot of '67 through '69 Firebirds. And the problem with it is that it does cost more to restore them because there's not as many parts and pieces for them. And so the cost of restoring a Camaro versus a Firebird in that era, it can
Probably 3 times the amount.
well, maybe not 3 times, but certainly enough.
69 Rambler SC, Tom Erickson.
Again, this is a car you don't see very much. We've got one of these in the area that we've got like that, but they had some interesting styling cues. I don't know if he's got a shot of the hood. It's kind of interesting hood that they have on this car as well.
This Rambler, there was only 1,512 produced.
Yeah. And they made another one that was called the Machine. I'll have to ask John if he's got one of those because you don't see that too often as well. Very clean, very nice. Color coordinated headrest.
Yeah, that's pretty neat. I didn't notice that.
Yeah, they can see the hood a little bit. They actually have it painted on where it shows the airflow going in, like this way in, so to speak, and kind of interesting styling how they did that.
Now that paint was available like that.
Yes, that was a paint scheme that they had.
Yep.
Now, we had a GSX on one of the other clips, but check this one out. 1970 Buick GSX with the Stage 1 455 cubic inch engine. Total production, 678, of which 400 were built with the Stage 1. Total of 491 were dressed in the Saturn yellow. The rest were the Apollo white.
Pretty nifty. That was a car to beat in the early 70s.
Yes.
And even today, when they do a lot of nostalgic drags and so on, it's that Buick Stage 1 that is is the king of the mountain at that
Yeah.
point. Even though you had, the Chevelle with a 454, that the Stage 1 car was pretty stout. And it wasn't something that you really thought of coming from Buick. You might have thought of that coming from more Chevrolet or
Right.
Pontiac. But for sure, Buick was a player at that point.
Mm-hmm. I've never seen one of those around.
Now there is one. I don't know that it actually is.
There's a GSX, but I don't think it's it's this one, the Stage 1.
Yeah, you don't see too many, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Nice show board.
Yeah.
Boy, that may give me an idea or something.
Now check this out. 1970 Volvo 1800E. Ken Began is the guy who owns it.
Again, I'm amazed at some of the cars. I mean, when's the last time you've seen one of those
Yeah.
show up at a car show that we've
Yeah.
had?
Mhm.
And it seems like up in the Northeast you have more and more of that. And of course, again, John kind of scouts these shows out for some of the more unusual ones. He's kind of like me in that regard. He likes to see some things different. Some things that people will go, I remember those. Volvo had a particular styling. I mean, you could kind of tell a Volvo from any place.
Well,
Matter where.
Volvo's always to me has that boxy look, squared off kind of boxy look. That was pretty sporty.
It was, but it still had that Volvo front end. And
This clip. See, look at that. That's pretty neat.
yep,
What's the one next to it there? Is it?
that's a Jaguar
Jag.
sitting next to it. Yeah, XKE. I don't think we got that in the clip, but
Yeah.
No.
No.
No, we
Old.
didn't get that on clip. 442, 1972, W30. Don Barenko.
That is a high dollar car.
Yep.
Mhm.
They are bringing all the money right now.
Are they?
Oh, yeah.
well, the W30 package was an option that wasn't on as many cars. Therefore, it's going to be a little bit more desirable.
Yeah.
442, certainly held its own, through from 65 right up through 72 fairly easily. So it definitely was a car that people, and again, Oldsmobile, people
Yeah.
didn't think of it as that way. But they certainly did an incredible job styling the cars. They have that similarity to, to the Buick GS and also to a Chevy, the Chevelles.
Chevelles, yeah.
But they certainly had enough styling cues themselves that it really looked pretty good.
74 Alfa Romeo GTV. Michael Donnelly.
And again, that's not a car. I knew somebody in Colorado that had one of those, but you just didn't see too many. And I think part of the problem with that is that it wasn't really a really user-friendly car to work on.
No.
And as a result, I think a lot of people that had that kind of car just simply didn't have the ability to do a lot of repair work on it.
No,
So.
not at all. No.
All brought to you in part by Keels and Wheels.
That guy?
That guy.
Yeah, this, folks, I apologize for the glitches in the thing. If I remember now, it was the same disc that we downloaded from tonight, that we dumped the footage for tonight. I think it's the same disc that we had trouble on the other, and it may have been the disc or something, I don't know. But, because a lot of times I don't run all the discs all the way through because
Yeah.
of time,
Yep.
in the office. So I'm going to have
I mean,
to
you're not
start.
memorizing this stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Memory? What's that?
Oh, I don't know.
Is that something I should have?
That's why he has us on the show.
That's yeah. Why do
He
you
forgot
think,
his pen
Why do you
tonight.
think I
Yeah,
put
yeah.
up? Why do you think
Yeah.
I put up with you guys?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Memory.
But
Third thing he lost.
I'm gonna take a look at those again and try to figure that out a little bit. I know pretty much what the problem is now. Is it's when I'm doing the motion, for some reason it's not copying right. So we will find the answer, folks. Incidentally, we're now on 189.